Hello. Well, it's future me, editing me, however you want to put it. I wanted to take a time out for a second and kind of sit down and warn you guys there might be some triggers in this video, talking about abuse, all of that. So if that's not something that you are ready for, though you have survived through it, but you're not ready to kind of hear those triggering things, then I would click away. I want to preface this by saying no way, shape, or form am I trying to get sympathy or people to feel sorry for me. That's not what this video is about. This video is simply just sharing my journey. This is actually going up on July 20th. 3 years after the start of my new life. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you enjoy. So let's go ahead and get back to the video. Today is going to be a little bit of a different video. I just got out of the shower, so my face is red. I have my glasses on. Somebody just recently who I really admire, he has had some issues with his mental health, and he kind of shared some of his demons, and I was kind of inspired by that. And it is also coming up on my 3-year anniversary of getting out of the behavioral health center, so I thought maybe I'd kind of talk a little bit where I've been, where I'm going, and all of that. And I apologize if this isn't your speed. I think that mental illnesses are, obviously they are real, they're here, they're not going away, and I don't think they should be stigmatized. I mean, they're obviously not normal because, our brains aren't normal, but I don't want them to be so out of the box that we're ashamed to talk about it, because I'm not. I've been through shit, I've been through hell and back, and I'm still here fighting every single day. So if this is something that you're interested in hearing my story, I'm not doing this for any sympathy, I'm not doing it for anything like that. I'm just simply sharing my story, sharing my diagnoses after the treatment program and things like that. So I guess it really starts in the beginning with my dad. My dad was just a severe alcoholic. He was super abusive, mental, emotionally, physically, all of it. It was just awful. It was not a pleasant time. My very first memory that I do have of my dad is he came home super drunk one night, and there was 3 of us kids that were probably 12 and under at the time, and of course there was lots of toys, and the living room was a mess. There was lots of toys everywhere, and he come home and he ended up tripping on a toy and hurting his foot. And so that justified for him to pick up this chair and launch it across the room, nearly hitting me as I was sitting on the couch watching TV. And that's one of the very first memories I have of my father, in the way he interacted with us. I apologize. I see my ring light is on my glasses. It's not too terrible. So, there was that, just constant. We didn't do anything right, even though, he asked us, to move this bale from here to there. We did it, what he asked, but, the bale wasn't just right, or it wasn't over for enough. So everything we did, it just wasn't good enough for him. And it just tore you up inside, because you tried, it's like, well, if I would have done better, he wouldn't beat my ass, I don't remember a lot of specifics about my childhood. I'd pretty much blocked them all out. I don't want to think about that time. I don't want to think about that period in my life. But there was one instance that sticks out in my brain so vividly, because I think it was because it hurt so bad. So I was helping my mother fold laundry, and the way she used to fold laundry, she'd sit on the couch and she'd have the basket in front of her, and then she'd take the clothes out and fold them, and then she'd put them on the couch in their respective piles, and then she'd go put them away. And so I was sitting there helping her. I was doing the same thing. There was a basket in front of me. And my dad told me to do something or said something. I honestly don't know what started the fight, but he tried grabbing my arm. So I pulled back and I leaned back. So then he tried grabbing at my legs because the basket was in the way. And my natural reaction was just to start kicking. So I start kicking my feet. And of course, I'm probably 10, 11, younger. And he ends up grabbing my foot. He yanks me off the couch, pulling me over the basket. We ended up breaking the basket. And then he proceeds to drag me by my foot all around the living room. Now, the living room was carpeted. And it was excruciating. If you have ever had a carpet burn, y'all know those things. Oh, Lord have mercy. They hurt so bad. Like, it hurt so bad. I was fighting. I was trying to, I was trying to get my back off of off the floor, but then it was just my shoulder blades protrude out. And so my shoulder blades were it was so bad. I had it from my neck down to my butt. It hurt like hell. It was so excruciating. And I have never been the one to sleep on my back. I'm either I'm the side. And I couldn't sleep on my side. I had to sleep on my stomach because it hurt so bad. And it was just sitting there just pulsing because it hurt so bad. Like, it hurt so bad. There were so many other instances with my dad and stuff, but that is one of the ones that I remember. And I remember going to school that next day and I'm like, how am I going to get through this day? Because all I could focus on was how my back was just with just intensity, and it hurt because my shirt was on it, and then I had to sit in the desk, and it was excruciating. It was awful. And I think that's why that one sticks out to me so much and why I remember it so vividly, because it was so excruciating. And so after a while, we lived through so much shit. And I think it was my 7th grade year. It was like a couple of months before the end of that year. My mother actually left my dad. I remember the sheriff coming out and being there when my mom told my dad that we were leaving. At the time, I didn't understand that this wasn't the way a family was supposed to be. So I was heartbroken. I see my dad just lose his heart. And even though as much as I hated him, he was still my dad. And, I didn't want to see him disappointed and hurt like he was. I put that because he wasn't really hurt, but, and so we ended up moving, and my parents ended up getting back together, and school life for me wasn't real good either. I was bullied a lot. I was really tall. I was kind of chunky. That was life for me back then. It's like I wanted to be off the beaten path. I remember I wore every single piece of jewelry I owned for the longest time to school because I didn't care. I wanted to do what I wanted to do. I wasn't going to follow what anybody else said or the fashion trends or anything like that. I was going to do whatever the hell I wanted. And, uniqueness is definitely not a quality people like. So when we actually moved, that's when things kind of took a turn for the worse. When I was mid-teens, one day, there was a phone call, and back then it was like, let's answer the phone, let's see who is there. There was no dodging it, there was no caller ID or anything like that. So I picked up the phone and I hear a conversation with, I don't even call him my brother, but for this instance we're gonna call him my brother. You'll understand why at the end of the story, but I hear the part of the conversation saying, yeah, she's here, but my dad is here and my brothers are downstairs. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not even going to worry about the conversation. So I hung up the phone. And a little while later, 2 boys and one of their older brothers shows up to the house. And, back then when the doorbell rang, everybody goes and sees who's here and greets them. And, you know how it is. And so I played it cool because I was like, oh my gosh, you know, there's these weird boys here. So I went and got a drink of water. And because I just wanted to know what was here, but I, you know, as a teenager, I wanted to make it casual. Like, I wasn't concerned about who was here or anything. And so the oldest boy, there was the two boys and his older brother. I won't use any names, but they know who they are. Anyways, the oldest boy ended up taking my dad out of the house. And I heard the door close, so I thought, okay, they left. So I went out to go to the bathroom while these two boys that were in my class, when I was in high school, they were in my grade. I graduated with these two as well. And they were still there. On my way back from the bathroom, they managed to get me down on the floor. I remember the one, he straddled my chest. He had his knees into, what is this? I don't know, whatever this muscle is called, right in here. So I could not move my shoulders. I couldn't get my shoulders off the ground for nothing. And he literally made like this kind of number with his hand, and he was taking and tapping this on my forehead over and over and over again. I don't even know how many times. It was so sore, but he was hitting it so hard. And he's like, say your ABCs, say your ABCs. And this was all happening in the living room. And the dining room was just right, you know, it was connected. There was no wall or anything. It was connected. And my older brother was in there. He was sitting on the computer while these boys were doing this. And the next thing I know, the boys are reaching their hands down my shirt saying, oh my God, there's more than a handful, you know, talking this, that, and the other thing. They tried taking a broomstick and, you know, doing all sorts of those things. And I am yelling at the top of my lungs. I am yelling my brother's name. I'm telling him, help me, they're hurting me, help me. I screamed so hard. I don't know how many times I asked him for help, and he just sat there. He didn't move. He didn't say anything. Nothing. He literally just sat there and let these boys do whatever they wanted to do to me. And after a while, I don't even know how long we were on the floor. I struggled and I struggled and I struggled. I fought so hard. But of course, 2 against 1. And after they were done, they left, you know, because my dad had come back with their older brother. And I had went in my room after it all happened, and I sat in front of my door and I cried. I was like, what the just happened? I'm like, this is my home, you know? And so I ended up, I heard them, you know, close the door. So I ended up going to the bathroom, and I see my brother, who's still sitting at the computer. Okay, he hasn't moved this entire time. He has a brand new, huge stack of, you know, because back then burning CDs was the thing. He had a huge stack of brand new empty CDs that you can burn on. There was a brand new pack sitting on the desk. And it didn't register in my mind until a few days later. And I remember that phone conversation that I caught was, yeah, she's here, but my dad is here. Okay. Coincidentally, they came over. One of the boys ended up taking my dad away. And they do their thing with me. And now my brother, he didn't do anything, but now he's got a brand new pack of, you know, burnable CDs. Like, where did those fucking come from? And so I am a 100% full believer that he sold me up the river for some blank CDs. There's no other way to put it. I mean, you get that phone call, you get the stack of CDs, and then coincidentally, you know, the two of them stay behind and their older brother take my dad away. There's no. So to this day, from that day forward, I never wanted anything to do with that man ever again. He is not my brother. He is not my family. He sold me up the river. He really, truly did. And at that point, that's where shit hit the fan. After that, I was never the same. I still haven't been the same since. You know, it is what it is. You know, that's your home. That's your safe place you think about. And the fact that he sold me up the river, you sold your own sister for a huge stack of blank CDs. Like, you're a real man if you do that. Congratulations. I hope you burn it. No, there's no hoping. You will burn in hell, for sure. So after that, you know, watching my dad with alcohol, I medicated with alcohol. I had no way of coping. I ended up going to the police. These boys actually bragged around school what they did. They talked about it. There was nothing the police could do. There wasn't enough evidence to support such thing. So literally, I graduated with these two boys that did this to me. I graduated with them. I walked down on one of the biggest moments of my life, my graduation. I walked with the two boys who assaulted me. Like, that is just, that's not justice. That fucking sucks, you know? So it was whatever. Like I said, I self-medicated a lot with alcohol. When I was in high school, I was addicted to alcohol. There was no question about it. No question about it. And then I met my husband. And that man changed my life. He truly did. He saved my life. He showed me what true love was. He showed me that I'm worthy of love, that people make mistakes, but that's okay, that you can still love them and make mistakes. That man changed my life. I quit alcohol for a while, and things were great. Oh my God, I love him so much. And I always felt like I was on this roller coaster. You know, it wasn't like a manic depressive, like where I was like on this roller coaster, like in a day. It was like I would be okay for a while, and then I'd be okay for a while, and then I'd drop down, and then I'd come back. And it was over months, years even. And July 13th of 2017 was the day that truly set my life into a tailspin. I went to Dairy Queen here on Minnesota, here in Sioux Falls, and I was with my younger brother. I was taking him out for ice cream, and I seen one of the boys who assaulted me. I wanted to walk up to him so bad and just, you know, he was there with a girl. Like, you know, I'm just like, oh my God. Like, girl, what are you doing? You know, this guy's a fucking predator and you're with him? Like, that's fucking sick as fuck. Like, I literally wanted to walk up to him and punch him and beat his ass and, you know, give him a piece of my motherfucking mind. But I didn't. I didn't even acknowledge that he was there. I know he saw me because he was really awkward. But I I kept it together because I was with my brother. I didn't want him to freak out. I didn't want him to, you know, see me like that. And so I was on my way to work, and every single pole that I saw was like, wow, I could just run my car into that pole and be done. I can run my car into that and be done. I can run myself, you know, off the road and be done. You know, that was the only thing that was on my mind, because I was so upset with seeing him and the fact that he's going on living his life with this girl. And here I am, like, battling this huge roller coaster of shit. And he got to go on and live his life. He was never branded for what he was. And it was bullshit. And so I get to work, I get my work done, and I go upstairs to the bathroom, and I break down. I have a nervous breakdown, 100%. I call and say, hey, I need to get the fuck out of here. Like, I can't stay here. I'm crying on the phone. They let me go, and I was sitting out in the parking lot, and I'm like, if I get behind this wheel, I am not going to make it home. I'm not. And so I called my mom, and I had her come get me. I hung out with her until my husband got off work. And I just spiraled. I spiraled so hard. It was like every minute, every second was like, how can I end my life? How can I end my life? I don't want to be here anymore. This is bullshit. Like, why does he get to go on with his life and live this perfect life? And me, I'm so fucking damaged because of what this boy did. You know? And the next day, the 14th, I made a call to Avera Behavioral Health here in town. And they were like, well, I think you should probably come in for evaluation. So I pack up my stuff, I grab my phone, I grab my husband, and we go. And they're like, I think you should stay, but it's completely up to you. And that was the day that I decided that I was going to help myself. And so I admitted myself into the loony bin. I was there for about a week. The day that I got out was the day that my idol took his own life. July 20th of 2017, Chester Bennington was found dead. That was the day I was released from the loony bin, where I was coming out into this world with a new perspective on life, a new outlook. And somebody who was so rich and so famous didn't have that opportunity. And I think that's the part that blows my mind the most. It's like little ordinary me was able to get help, but he wasn't able to get help for his demons. And that sickens me to my core. That just sucks so bad. Because it was like, Linkin Park, their music has helped me so much, and it still does to this day, because so much of what he talks about just resonates with me. My face is so red. So, any hoosers, so a more light side of the story. So after that, I declared that that was going to be the start of my new life. I ended up getting 2 diagnoses while I was in there. The first one that is the forefront of everything was PDD. And what PDD stands for is Persistent Depressive Disorder. So basically what that means is it's persistent, clearly, but it's basically you're functioning. You're at a functioning level, And then months or years down the road, you'll hit this major depression and you'll be down here. And then after a couple of months, you'll be back up to here where you're functioning. You're never okay, you're functioning. You're functioning, and then you'll slip down again. And it may span years, months. And it just explains so much, because this is the giant roller coaster of my life. I've been here, I've been there, I've been here, I've been there. You know, you can see it in my history of my grades in school and stuff. You know, you can really see where I've been functioning and where I've been down here. Of course I was prescribed some meds. I'm on Zoloft. Currently, they had started me on something else, which, you know, whatever, and I've changed it since then. And then also I have some post-traumatic stress, from the situation of the assault. So I do take meds at night. Persistent. The way it was explained to me was back in the Vietnam War, the soldiers were prescribed this med who had high blood pressure. And when they came back from the war, they didn't suffer from nightmares from their PTSD as the other soldiers did. So it is a blood pressure med, but it also regulates. Because the big thing is I had very, very vivid dreams of the assault occurring over and over and over again. And so they prescribed that to me, so my body's not reacting to it. I don't remember my dreams. I don't remember any of my dreams because I don't react. Your body, when it gets scared, you know, your blood pressure starts freaking out and going up. Well, since it's a blood pressure med, it regulates it. So my body does not react to my dreams. So I don't remember them, because if I don't react to them, I don't remember them. So that's been almost 3 years ago. I have been maintaining, normal. I mean, I've lived with these thoughts and these feelings longer than I haven't. So, you know, it is what it is, and life sucks. You know, life sucks sometimes, but in the end, we're all going to get through it some way or another. And if I can give you any sort of advice, take care of yourself. You know, don't think that you're not important enough to work on your own mental health. I do not regret it one damn bit. And I will shout from the rooftop that I am on meds. I don't care what people have to say. If they think, oh my God, you're crazy, you're this, you're that. Congratulations. I'm crazy. I already knew that. But I don't care. I don't care. I am at a super awesome place in my life right now. And I haven't had one of those dips in 3 years. 3 years. You know, and that's saying something, because I don't think I've ever went 3 years before I've fallen. And I am maintaining. I am here. I am alive. And I don't regret a damn bit of it. You know, they taught me so much while I was in there, you know. I don't regret it. And, you know, after I got out, I was working with a therapist for a very long time. I still go see him every once in a while if things are getting rough. And here we are. Yeah, life is good. Life is real good. And I can't wait to see what the future is going to be. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.